Shalom.ai. So Shalom.ai, what is its mission? Is that we're committed to harnessing the transformative power of artificial intelligence to ignite a renaissance in human capability and planetary well-being. Our mission is to accelerate learning, unlock renewable and abundant energy solutions, revolutionize sustainable food production, deepen spiritual growth, and eliminate disease. And we're going to do this through innovation and ethical AI. We will strive to create a symbiotic relationship between technology and the sacred essence of life, fostering a future where both humanity and Earth can flourish. Now, I want to kind of sketch out what we mean by all of this. And the first thing I want to do is to actually talk about where we are today. This is an incredibly great article. This table is taken from this article, Evolution of the Polycrisis, Anthropocene Traps That Challenge Global Sustainability. It's put together by Jorgensen now, and it's in the Philosophical Transactions of the Royal Society, Series B. And so they basically say that there are a whole bunch of global technology and structural traps and they basically put these things together. And what they're saying is that the increased specialization producing simplified subsystems that vulnerable to shocks. So production ecosystems, institutional lock-ins drive pursuit of growth at the cost of well-being. Continual material growth leads to overshoot of using Earth's resources to system tipping points. Climate change is one of them, one of the indicators. International conflicts and other pandemic events, fossil fuel infrastructure. We're creating all kinds of plastics and compounds that are depleting the Earth's resources and creating toxic substances. Nuclear weapons but are an existential threat. Reliance on automation without knowing what's in the black box. Big threat of AI and robotics. Disinformation. Wow, that is so much on the increase with absolute trash on social media for the most part. Short-term growth focus, absolutely megalomaniac, narcissist CEOs and shareholders. Overconsumption, biosphere illiteracy, just not understanding that we're shitting and pissing over our own backyard. And unbelievable polarization, us and them, constantly us and them, rather realizing that we are all part of humanity. Actually, we're all part of creation. There is no us and them. And so these are, so Shalom.ai exists and it stands for S for spiritual growth, H for health and education, health and medicine, A for agriculture and horticulture, L for learning and education, O for organizational behavior, M for machines and materials, E, energy and renewables. So the essence of all of this is starts off with spiritual growth, and that is to make people realize something that should be blindingly obvious, that we're all here with only one purpose, which is to learn to love ourselves, to love one another, to love the rest of creation, to know that we are part of and not separate from creation, and to understand that we're here to serve, not to be served. It's such a simple truth. But unfortunately, over 85% of humanity just simply does not get this. Health and medicine is to revolutionize health and medicine so that we're going at the root cause and creating therapies that are not rather narcissistically and cynically designed to keep people on taking drugs for which you can charge enormous amounts of money for the lifetime and exploit illnesses. It's absolutely unbelievably deplorable. Pharmaceutical companies are diabolical. So are healthcare systems, designed to keep people in illness so that you can make as much money out of them as possible. Agriculture and horticulture, also part of the problem is we are now have mass agricultural systems that are using very extensive farming techniques that are depleting earth soil and then just pumping more and more chemicals in rather than using sustainable agricultural techniques. Most of the mechanized agriculture is so far removed from people's consumption that food is typically 8 to 10 weeks sitting in some kind of supply chain before it lands on your plate. And so what we're eating is very unfresh food. And so the whole point about horticulture is bringing food production right to the doorstep, to go back to micro farming techniques which are sustainable and cost effective, which technology should enable us to do. Learning and education is the current education system is utterly broken. People are being taught stuff at schools that is utterly irrelevant and no longer up to date. The shocking thing is that if you ask anybody, did you have any good teachers? Most people will say no, and one or two may say I had one or two good teachers. The state of education and the quality of teaching is utterly abysmal. People are not taught how to think, but taught how to get through exams, and their people are parrot fashion learning just how to get through a test. Organizational behavior is to tackle the unfortunate consequences of capitalism, where the management team and shareholders have only got one objective, which is to make as much stinking money as possible by doing anything and everything it takes without getting caught. And so they're exploiting the consumers, cheating, lying, thieving, and that just needs to, and the whole system is designed to, it basically promotes those people that will get to the top. Usually will have narcissistic tendencies. If you're a narcissist, you will thrive, and the whole system is designed for narcissists to flourish, and that's why we have what we have today, both in terms of corporations, politics, sports, entertainment, you name it. In every field, we are controlled and led by narcissistic megalomaniacs who we have voted for. Machines and materials. Here talk about robots, nanobots, nanomaterials that will enable us to do all those things, leverage all the things that humans don't like to do, are too dangerous for humans to do, that we can get robots to do. Energy here, not just renewables, but actually cracking the code for cold fusion energy, where we take hydrogen by simply a bit of electrolysis of water, creating hydrogen using a fusion reactor to create helium as a byproduct. So we'll have abundant free energy as well as being able to have a big party with lots of helium balloons. So that is what Shalom is all about in these 7 areas. And if we were to do that, then although it's all a little bit grim in terms of the global traps, and it's on a scale of 1 to 5, where 5 is a massive existential threat, you can see that most of these things are, according to those researchers, on a scale of 5. But there's ways to mitigate against these global traps, and I'll leave it for you. I will post some of these things. These are early days in terms of doing this. Now, of course, the United Nations and UNHCR, etc., those are organizations that were set up to do this, to save us. But in fact, they're part of the problem, not part of the solution. Because again, the type of people who get into those organizations are, unfortunately, for the most part, in it for themselves. So, but not everybody. But this whole point is that it has to start off with not people with high IQ, but people with high SQ, a desire to help others and serve others, not to be self-serving. And that's really the fundamental problem is we have people who are very clever but incredibly self-serving in their nature. And so it doesn't matter how clever you are, you're going to basically get to a point where you are going to fuck everybody else over. Yes. Unless you're not like that. But people who are not like that generally don't get attracted to those kinds of organizations. And if they do go into those kinds of organizations, they don't last for very long. No, they don't, because they get disillusioned incredibly rapidly. So that's what it's all about there. And so this slide, I want to illustrate and talk about how Shalomi.ai could transform our civilization. We're currently a type 0 civilization, type 0.7, 0.8 civilization, and how Shalom actually is necessary to get to become a type 1 civilization. Now, when I talk about these civilization types, it's actually based on the work that the Russian scientist Kardashev in the 1960s developed a framework to understand different types of civilization. And he went up to kind of a type 2 civilization. And he characterized civilization based on the type of what kinds of, what they use for energy source, the kind of travel they have, the amount of energy that they can create, the kinds of things that they've mastered. So our journey basically begins with a kind of a type 0 civilization, which is what Earth has been pretty well much since recorded history to now. And we're about 0.7, 0.8. We're not quite a type 1 yet. In this is a local civilization. It harnesses chemical reactions, burns fossil fuels for energy, generating less than 10 to 16 watts annually. The mastery extends to mining and constructing buildings, while technological prowess allows for basic alloying. Travel is limited to continents, to between continents, and the dominant life form is Homo sapiens, us. Biological, organic, carbon-based biological entities with a lifespan of 35 to 120 years. And the civilization is characterized by agricultural, industrial revolutions. The agricultural revolution took place somewhere between 5,000, 6,000 years ago. Industrial revolution in the 1800s, relatively recently, about 200 odd years ago. And transistors, only created in the 1950s. Yeah, and from which we got microchips at the moment, and we come to the kind of the full evolution of how far microchips can get us with the design of graphical processing units that do complex matrix multiplications very, very quickly, which is the basis of the computers that are creating large language models like ChatGPT 4. So that's kind of a type 0, and we are type 0. And if we can get through and do not end up destructing and destroying this planet, we will become a type 1. And something like Shalomi.ai is necessary to create a type 1 civilization for us to transition. And a type 1 civilization, we shift towards planetary mastery. We've healed our planet and established colonies on nearby celestial bodies like the Mars and the Moon. Fusion becomes our primary energy source, which takes hydrogen from electrolysis from water and creates as a byproduct helium. So we can all have a big party with helium balloons and talk with those funny voices. And that will boost our current energy production by 10 billion times what we have at the moment. And effectively, it's free energy for everybody. And we'll be able to create huge artificial satellites and megastructures and delve into nanotechnology and enter into near satellite space. our own biological lives are enhanced with replacement parts, which extends lifespans between 80 to 200 years. And this era is marked by AI and quantum computers. Now, quantum computers at the moment are at a very, very early stage, but a working quantum computer will make ChatGPT look like a basic abacus. And so that's really what was kind of mastery at that point. And once a civilization gets to end of type 1, is they have very emerging into type 2 civilization. And a type 2 civilization achieves stellar status. They can terraform planets, harness the total energy of their nearby sun through something called a Dyson sphere that generates 1 billion times, 10 billion times more energy than a type 1, which is 100 quadrillion more energy than we currently have. That civilization has complete control of planetary weather. Some of that control is already happening in type 1, but complete control of the weather and tectonics. They can manipulate genes to grow organs and travel between planets with ease. And at this point, the humans are cybernetically enhanced, living to 150, 350 plus years. And they can, they're mining asteroids and further developing Dyson spheres to really create all that energy to be able to get onto the next type of civilization. Now, by the time you're at type 2, you can save the planet Earth from any kind of asteroid attack, etc. So somewhere between every 14,000 years is that planet Earth faces masses of asteroid coming from the Oort cloud. It could be happening every 7,000 years, but every 14,000 years there's a whole stream of asteroids come, which in the past have caused mass extinction events. By the time you get to type 2, is that you can avoid mass extinction events that are created by the galaxy. And of course, at this point, you've got to a point where humanity is really very spiritually motivated, and they're not any of those things that we talked about that characterize where we are today. So that gets to a type 3, and this is a galactic civilization that creates and manipulates stars. They tap into multiple stars across the galaxy for generating enormous amounts of energy that are needed to terraform planets, create new materials at the molecular level. And this civilization can travel interstellar distances. They are cyborg enhanced entities living for anywhere between 350 and 1,000 plus years. At this point, anti-gravity technology has basically been completely mastered that allows interplanetary travel. And that brings us to a type 4 civilization. And now they're not just spanning, going between different galaxies, but across the entire universe. And they can now start to manipulate galaxies. So at galaxy level, you can manipulate stars and planets. And now you're kind of creating galaxies. You're mastering the energy of a supernova, which is the entire energy of a particular star in its entire lifetime. And you can actually create planets, create satellites. And at the macro level, it can create complex artificial life. Universal travel across the universe is now possible. And warp drive and teleportation are probably now realities. Type 5 is multiversal. They can travel between universes. And they draw energy from white holes. Although no one's ever seen one of these, I don't believe that they could exist. And galaxies are within their realm of influence. They've mastered memory storage, transference at smaller scales. The teleportation isn't just of inanimate objects, it's of actually sentient beings. That's a type 5. And a type 6, where they're able to actually master universes, and the amount of energy that they can create and master is quadrillions and quadrillions of what energy that we have at the moment. And they are getting to the point where they can manipulate and master time itself. And that gets to the type 7 organization. So, and sorry, I've got to do all this. So we go to type 1, type 2, go to type 3, go to type 4, go to type 5, and type 6. And then the final one is type 7. These entities are transcended the status of creators. It's a creator civilization. And once you get to type 6, is that the next level is type 7, where you can actually create multiverses. You can create the base quantum fields. So they're able to create, like an electron is a manifestation, is a local collapse of a electron quantum field which permeates all space-time. And a universe actually can create basic quantum fields, create a photon quantum field, electron quantum field, neutrino quantum field. And they know how to do that, which is the essence of life, the absolute essence of life. And this is pure consciousness that it can enables that to do that. And it's an 11-dimensional entity that can do that. And that particular civilization can time travel. And that's exactly what they've done, is that they've got to type 7. And then they have traveled back in time to type 0 and created this universe. In fact, they've created not just this universe, a whole series of universes. And in one of those universes, there is a planet and a civilization on that planet that will make it all the way to 7. Maybe it's our civilization on this planet Earth in this particular universe that gets there, or it's another civilization in another multiverse, in another planetary system, in another galaxy, in another planetary system that gets there. And so there are these hundreds, if not thousands, of multiverses, billions of galaxies, trillions of planetary systems, quadrillions life forms, and which we're one. And one of them is going to make it all the way to 7. And that one will go back and start the whole thing rolling again. I've created a video that tries to depict how the evolution of civilization works. So here it is. So our Earth at the moment is quite desolate. We're really ruining it. So this is trying to indicate that our Earth is in a pretty bad way, and we're trying to bring it back to life, and not to. And you see bits of it opening up and the ocean coming back again, and we're not just completely constructing all over it. And the intention is to live in harmony with this planet Earth, and
and that's why the Earth is in the center there. And you'll see everything is quite organic, and there are animals all around there, showing a very big cat there. But the indication is to come into harmony with the Earth and to be building around it and together with it. And you know, a lot of abundant fruited stuff, and you'll start seeing planets there as we're trying to get through to be interplanetary travel. Energy is all part of everything, is creating all the energy for itself. Nature, and you'll see animals are surrounding and together in domestic environments. Every single building is created so that it can create and generate its own self-sustaining energy. You'll see kind of solar cells all around. You'll also see increasingly, you'll see there's food production. I know this looks like a giant IKEA, but food production is within the city, and so you don't need to go very far. You've got anti-gravity machines, as we're learning to control the climate, machines that will enable us to do interplanetary travel, but everything in this beautiful harmony with each other. And so buildings all part of it. And as we move into more advanced civilizations, we go from planet to planet, terraforming different planets, building and taking energy from multiple suns, solar systems, being able to go intergalactic travel, and then multi-universal travel. And more we transcend into something that is much more spiritual. And these kind of clouds indicating is that we become a pure consciousness. And that's what's depicted by these mountains and electric fields and galaxies and stars, as we start creating that and become the type 7 civilization that is pure consciousness, able to create their own raw quantum fields. That is the essence, the foundational building block of life. And everything all coming and creating this planet Earth, where it potentially all began and where it all leads to create that creator civilization that comes back and starts all over again.
And I think we have 12 million people working on Shalomi.ai. Then we're going to transition to type 1 civilization, and then have a good chance of getting all the way to type 7. Shalom.ai. And I'm hoping that many will join us on this mission. In fact, worked out that if there are 12 million people that will join this mission, it's not a single individual that does this, but if there are 12 million of us working on this, then we'll be able to escape destroying our planet, and to be able to create this wonderful world here. Shown a picture of this beautiful Earth, this beautiful planet, alive, abundant, full of life, full of food, sustainable. This is a lovely place for all of creation to live and work in harmony together. So again, recapping, we need spiritual growth, learning to love ourselves and one another, and love creation. health and medicine, actual bring real healing, not use it as a way to make shitloads of money. Horticulture, learning education, revamp the entire education system so we're equipping our children to be able to think, not just pass through exams, and have people going into the teaching profession who really want to teach and not using it as a way of just ticking a box. Now, this is not all teachers, obviously. There are some great teachers out there, but you great teachers know that you are in a minority. And to create new kinds of organizations that does not promote narcissistic behavior. Unfortunately, current organizations do that. And to advance machines, materials, and fusion energy and renewables. So I'm hoping, I already know actually there's a whole load of people that are already working on this in different fields, and Shalomi.ai is not just one person. There'll be 12 million of us.